Hello, I'm Ken, and this is Inside The Toon, and this is the works where you can rewatch all of my videos from the Newcastle versus Man City FA Cup 5th round game. Newcastle lost 3-1. We ran out of steam, basically, and Man City showed their class and the depth of their squad. So in the match series, we start off with Eddie next, and then we go all the way through to the final whistle report and post-match analysis. Enjoy. Hello, I'm Ken, and this is Inside the Toon. Newcastle take on Manchester City in the FA Cup 5th round on Saturday evening, 8 p.m. kickoff. What an awful time, by the way. And Eddie's held his press conference, so let's see what he had to say. Before we hear what Eddie had to say in his press conference ahead of Manchester City in the Cup, Dan Burns spoke yesterday and held our heroic win. You can see the match facts there. Ramsey sent off in the 45th minute and Asula scoring a fantastic goal in the 89th minute. Dan said this ranks among the greatest nights of Eddie Howe's era. What a man. So first of all, Eddie answered the question about team news. Big Nick, yep, okay. Lewis Miley out for another 2 matches, probably longer, no doubt. And then Tino's getting there. Let's wait and see. He hasn't trained with us yet. He's still been training on his own. So again, not good news on Tino or Lewis anytime soon, sadly. When asked about Manchester City, Eddie again was polite. The games against Manchester City have all been close. They're always going to test you. They're a difficult team to pin down in every moment, and it will be a proper FA Cup tie where it's one of those end-to-end games. Fantastic. Asked about Will Osula and his late winner against Manchester United, he said, Will is something that always works on his game. He's confident again in his ankle and physically getting better. Graham Jones has been doing a lot of one-to-one individual extra training with him behind the scenes. Fantastic. So looking at Will Osula's late winner against Manchester United, being hailed as a fantastic goal. Apparently he recorded the quickest speed in all of Premier League this season. He did look fast. And just fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And we're still basking in this, but now we need to focus on the cup tie and see if we can make it a really, really, really good week. Eddie said we need a ferocious St James's Park, but that's going to come from our body language and the start of the game. The crowd reacts to us. The crowd then backs us to the very end and helps us get over the line to win that game against Man U. Eddie's expecting the same for Man City. And let's finish on a high note. Gordon, masterclass in taking penalties this season, definitely. And what a massive win. What a massive win. And it was a Howe masterclass as well. So let's get into Man City and let's take it to them from the start. And let's have a fantastic evening. So this is the first in a series of videos coming out after today's press conference. Tomorrow you will see my matchday program and predictions, team and score. That'll be followed about an hour before kickoff where we get the team news from Eddie. And then you'll get a half-time report from me, a full-time report from me, and then eventually the day after a final score word report. I'm Ken and this is Inside the Toon, and thank you again for watching. Hello, I'm Ken and this is your matchday program, Newcastle versus Man City in the FA Cup 5th round. Don't miss an upload by subscribing to my channel. Join me, shall you? St James's Park prepares for another electric FA Cup night as Newcastle host Manchester City in the fifth round. With a place in the quarterfinals at stake, Eddie Howe's side will look to harness the roar of the Toon army in what promises to be a thrilling cup battle. In Newcastle's road to the fifth round so far, in the third round, we played Bournemouth at home. An electrifying atmosphere, 3-3 after extra time, and we won on penalties, 7-6 getting, and Ramsdale was the hero. Away to Villa in the fourth round, Sandro Tonali with a brace saw us romp away with a victory. Get in. Russ Abbott, the old comedian, said everything was about atmosphere, and he's not wrong. St James's Park is the key to Newcastle doing well. That's what Eddie said in his press conference. We must be clinical and brave against one of the best teams in the world. What's your score prediction? Put it in the comments below. Will we win? Yes or no? Looking at the current form of Newcastle, obviously in the Cups we've been doing well, both FA Cup, League Cup and the Champions League. But we've been inconsistent, as you know, in the domestic Premier League. The Manchester United victory during the week was a huge win, and Newcastle must show the same fight against Manchester City to reach the quarterfinals. Man City's current form is impressive, unbeaten in their last 5 games. They're scoring regularly. However, a couple of recent draws against Forest and Spurs, who are struggling down the bottom, does hint that there is some vulnerability in their defence. Last time out in the League Cup away, we lost 2-1 in the second leg. Man City's run to the fifth round so far, home to Exeter City, and they won 10-1. In the fourth round, they played Salford City, and they came out 2-0 winners, a comfortable win to progress to see them play Newcastle tonight. Newcastle's run is in stark contrast to games that Man City had to face. We faced Premier League Bournemouth at home in a really tough match back in January. 3-3 on the day, 7-6 on penalties, and it was a chaotic cup match. Aaron Ramsdale in goal was the hero with key saves in the penalty shootout. In the fourth round, Newcastle had to come from behind at Villa Park. Sandro Tonali scored twice before a late goal sealed the win. The result sent Newcastle comfortably into the next round. Again, another Premier League team, and this time away. So if you're up for the Cup, tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below, and what you predict. I'll be very interested to read them. So thanks for watching my match day program ahead of tonight's match against Man City. Next up is my predictions video with the predicted team and the score. My score predictions are not very good, by the way. I generally get the actual correct score wrong, so do not put your shirt, house, or whatever else on it. But here we go. Here's going to be my team that I predict and the score. I've gone for stability this time, and I forgot about rotation. Ramsey is obviously suspended because of the stupid red card against him in the Man U match in midweek. But I've kept Ramsdale in goal. I think he thoroughly deserves it, without a shadow of a doubt. The back four again is Trippier, Chow, Byrne, and Hall. I think Botman gets a shout at some point. Midfield, Willett comes in for Ramsey. Tonali and Joe Linton are the engine. Up front, I've got Barnes and Gordon. Can't do without them. And then it's a toss-up. Obviously, Big Nick's just come back from illness. He's trained once. Osula, if he's coming down from his wherever his lofty perch is at the moment, after one of the best goals of his life, he might start. But we'll have to wait and see. What are your thoughts? I'm back in Newcastle to win 2-1. The Toon will roar and power our cup dream under a magical night at St James's Park. The atmosphere under the lights should give us a real edge, and Newcastle tend to rise on the big occasion. Manchester City will have dominant spells of possession, but Newcastle's intensity, pressing and counter-attacking threat could prove decisive in a tight FA Cup battle. So that's it, folks. We now wait for the team news, of which I will do a video when it comes out, and wait with excitement. Away the lads. Eddie Howe has picked his team to play Man City in the FA Cup 5th round this evening. So let's take a look at who he's chosen. Shall we? Eddie has named his team, and it is Ramsdale, Trippier, Hall, Botman, Tonali, Barnes, Chow, Asula, Ilanga, Big Nick, and Joe Willock. On the bench, we got Pope, Joe Linton, Visser, Gordon, Livramento's back, Jacob Murphy, Dan Burns on the bench having a rest, Alex Murphy, and young Neve. So slightly different from what I thought we'd go with. 3 or 4 changes there from the Man U match. Defensively, Botman's in for Byrne, and Ilanga starts. Gordon's on the bench having a rest, maybe. And Big Nick is in midfield. No Joe Linton. I think that might be a miss somehow, but we'll see. Away the lads. Newcastle's FA Cup journey this year has already delivered drama, resilience and belief. The campaign began with a chaotic 3-3 draw against Bournemouth at St James's Park, with the Magpies holding their nerve to win 7-6 on penalties in a thrilling shootout. Eddie Howe's side then travelled to Aston Villa and produced an impressive 3-1 victory over Aston Villa, with Sandro Tonali leading the charge. Those results have set up tonight's blockbuster 5th round clash with Man City under the lights at St James's Park. The road to Wembley is gathering momentum, and with the Toon army behind them, Newcastle believe another memorable cup run is possible. Away the lads, get into them. It is half-time, Newcastle 1, Man City 1 in the FA Cup 5th round. And here is your half-time report. Newcastle started the game like a bat out of hell. We had 3 shots in the first 11 minutes, and then in the 15th minute, a Sulla right-footed shot from the centre of the box missed to the right. And that was the trend, to be honest. Chow had a left-foot shot soon after that, high and wide. Newcastle are well on top and firing on all cylinders. And in the 18th minute, we scored. Harvey Barnes, right-footed shot from the left side of the box to the right corner, assisted by Sandro Tonali. All started off by a nice backheel turn by Dan Byrne on the halfway line. Then a magnificent pass threaded through by Sandro. And Harvey Barnes does what he normally does. Put it in the net, curved it round the goalie. We continue to power ahead in the next 10 minutes. Tonali, left-footed shot, just too high. Barnes, right-footed shot from outside the box, high and wide. And then Ramsdale had to make probably his first save of the game in the 29th minute to his bottom right-hand corner. Nice stop. Man City had started to play by now and were starting to use the ball really well. Unfortunately, that resulted in a goal in the 39th minute, 1-1. Close range shot after the ball came in. Don't think the attacker or the Man City player had a clue what was going on. Didn't even move his feet. It bounced off his ankles very slowly into the net. Unfortunately, he was the only one at the back. And if anybody was to have tracked back and marked him, it was probably Harvey Barnes. You can see from the attack momentum chart there, the green is Newcastle, the blue under the line is Man City. It really was a game of first half, two quarters. So we go into it 1-1, but Man City are definitely on the up. Newcastle lost this cup tie, 3-1 at home to Manchester City. Second half, we just didn't have any legs at all, and Man City dominated us. So this is how it played out, and this is my report. The second half started extremely badly with Man City scoring within 2 minutes. Their goal scorer, the guy that scores all the time against us, right-footed shot, very close range to the top left-hand corner. And you could just feel it dropping. Players, fans. The fans did get straight back into it to support the team, but 2-1 down. If only we could have come out firing like we did in the first half. We did have a couple of goes, 52nd minute, Big Nick right-footed shots saved in the top centre of the goal. Willett missed a left-footed shot from the centre again, high and wide. And then Man City had 3 attempts in the 60th minute. They were bombarding us. 63rd minute, Eddie had to make the changes. Joe Linton, Byrne, and Visser on for Sulla, Trippier, and Elanga. Man City were just dominating us. And from Newcastle's point of view, we just did not compete. We tried, but we just couldn't get the ball. If you don't have the ball, then you're just running around. Not headless, but really trying, but getting nowhere. Man City scored in the 65th minute. Again, that guy, that Egyptian, second goal of the match for him. And it's all over as far as I'm concerned. I didn't see us coming back into it. Joe Linton was booked in the 78th minute. Gordon came on in the 72nd minute for Big Nick. Tino came back, sitting on the bench for the first time in a long time, came on for HOWE, and it was good to see him. Visser was booked for a foul in the 87th minute. Bad foul at the end of the day, but he was trying. So it was all over, 96th minute. This was one game too many for us, I'm afraid. Second half, the momentum charts, mostly blue. We had 2 spells, actually, but really nothing that threatened them. I think it was just Man City taking the foot off the pedal at the time and then coaxed into a victory. They had a excellent bench, by the way. Pep had made about 10 changes, but these players will get in any team at all. So the match overview, stats don't look great. 63% to Man City with the ball. Expected goals 3, which they did. We had 1. Big chances to Man City 7. We had 4. 21 shots for Man City, 11 to us. And that really sums it up for me. Straight after the match, TV interview, Howe was quite honest. He said we ran out of gas after our bright opening spell. He admitted the early intensity was difficult to sustain against a team like Man City. He also praised the supporters, calling them incredible and saying their backing will be vital for the upcoming matches. So fast start faded. St James's Park was bouncing early, and Barnes' goal looked like it might spark a cup upset, but Man City's quality showed through. So Harvey Barnes gave us an early lead. The Man City responded just before half-time. The Egyptians scored the other side of half-time to make it 2-1. And despite a bright start and a huge support, Newcastle couldn't maintain the early momentum. Newcastle lost to Man City in the Cup 3-1. This is the final word report. I'm Ken, and this is Inside the Toon. Manchester City ended Newcastle's FA Cup dream with a 3-1 win at St James's Park on Saturday evening. The Magpies battled hard under the lights, but Manchester City's quality and clinical finishing proved decisive. Despite the defeat, the atmosphere remained electric, and the Toon Army backed the team to the final whistle on another memorable cup night. Manchester City showed their quality. Many analysts felt Man City's control, depth, and clinical finishing proved the difference, especially in the second half. Newcastle started well. The atmosphere at St James's Park was electric. Newcastle lacked the cutting edge. We missed quite a few chances when we had the dominance on the ball in the first half. Wasn't to be. There was pride in the fight. The players just ran out of energy, to be honest, but the crowd kept going. Eddie, obviously disappointed post-match, had this to say: good start from us, really good first half an hour. The two things happened. We couldn't sustain our energy at the start, but they also played really well. We have to accept that. I felt we had run out of gas, especially certainly in the second half and towards the end of the first half. So that was a tough lesson for us in the second half. We just didn't have the strength to make a dent in them, he said. Eddie added they took a stranglehold on the ball, basically, and as soon as we make a technical mistake, you're not going to see the ball for long periods, and then your energy just drains away. On Joe Linton not starting, too big a risk, an injury risk, to be honest. So we were running out of options in there. We had to protect Joe today with past experience in mind. On Anthony Gordon, Eddie had this to say: he came in with an ankle problem, and we had to protect him. On Jacob Murphy, I couldn't use Jacob today because of a neck problem, which he suffered yesterday, and wanted to see how he felt in the warm-up to see if I could use him. Automatically, Eddie pivoted to the Barcelona game coming up. He said, all our energy and focus now goes to Tuesday. My focus is really short-term, and it's trying to win the game that's in front of me, and that is winning the game against Barcelona in the Champions League. We have the biggest game in the club's history coming up in no time at all. We have no time to dwell on this loss. Eddie spoke about the supporters and fans. He said they were incredible. He said this is an amazing football club, full of incredible people. We're going to need every single person who enters the stadium on Tuesday to try and make a difference for us. This is really now our season. We need to try and find some energy from somewhere that will elevate our performance. My brother's been to, with my nephew and niece, to all these games, and he said fatigue does even affect the supporters. Match after match, every 3 or 4 days, it's quite an achievement for the crowd to just keep lifting themselves and supporting this fantastic club. So the YouTubers had their say. There's a couple on the screen here: Chris at Evermore, Pete, and then Alice. And these are my thoughts now. Newcastle obviously lost 3-1 to Man City. We played well for half an hour, but we just ran out of steam. We've played the most games in Europe now, and it's just caught up with us. In reality bites. On the revenue front, we really need to go after the sponsorship for the training ground, the training gear, the naming rights of the stadium, all those things. Hiking the prices for tickets for supporters, for me, is not the answer unless you want to price them out and then fill it with the tourists, which Man City suffer from. Their away support was great, by the way. They were the real supporters and not the tourists. So there you go. Tough to ask. If we lose on Tuesday, then it's going to be a tough week or two, and then we'll just have the league to look after. So, despite a bright start and a huge home support, Newcastle just couldn't maintain the early momentum. We faded, and Man City's quality and class showed through. And what a bench they had, by the way. That's all for this match series, Newcastle against Man City. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe, absolutely free. And if you're on TikTok, hit the follow button. Barcelona next. One of the most excitable, anticipated games of the season for me. I'm Ken, and this is Inside The Toon. Keep the faith.